You might be wondering, how can a ghee lamp teach me anything about higher consciousness and manifesting in my life? How can it possibly help me in my spiritual growth? But this ghee lamp gave me an experience that expanded my consciousness to a higher place and gave me more evidence that I have the power to manifest through my intentions and consciousness. If you struggled to apply the spiritual truths that you've been learning about, like you being a powerful being, powerful beyond measure, and that you've really been trying to apply them but have just struggled, let me share my story with you about this ghee lamp, because there were so many spiritual ahas that transformed me that I am hoping it transforms you. So let me share that story with you. All right, let's get going. So this is my altar space. I come here every morning, every evening, do my morning sadhana, my evening sadhana, which are my spiritual practices. And I have this ghee lamp where I light it. And you use ghee actually in it if you don't know what it is. And you put a wick in it. And I would light it and start to burn it. And I would be doing my spiritual practices. And often before I could even begin to meditate, the wick would just fall over. And it happened like for actually several weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks, and I was getting frustrated with it. Have you had something like that happen in your life where there's something that just keeps happening that you want it to stop happening? Well, I was getting frustrated with it. And finally, just the other day, I looked at that ghee lamp and I said, let me stop resisting what is happening here and actually get that my spirit guides, God, spirit, higher power, is trying to speak through me through this experience. And I immediately let go of all the resistance, because you know, they talk about that, what you resist persists, right? So I let go of my resistance to this ghee lamp, the wick just falling over and falling over and falling over. It went on for several days where that, like I said, I think it was a couple weeks that the ghee lamp kept, the wick and the ghee lamp kept falling over. And finally I said, let me let go of this resistance. Let me accept what is happening right here in my life. And I started to ask a different question. See, I asked, what is this experience with the ghee lamp, with the wick flying over, trying to teach me? Trying to communicate to me? Because the experiences in our lives are actually communications from spirit, from your spirit guide, from God, whoever your higher power is that you trust and believe is there, has got your back, is always trying to communicate to you. So I asked that question. What are you trying to communicate to me? What am I supposed to learn? I actually asked 2 different questions. What are you trying to communicate to me, and what am I supposed to learn? And then I let go of the ghee lamp being lit and just said, well, let me meditate. And I went and I did my meditation, and all of a sudden it came to me that, the wick, the flame, you know, when you light the flame of a wick. And I've been thinking about, like, what does the flame mean when you are putting a candle or a ghee lamp on your altar? I've been kind of contemplating that. Like, okay, the obvious is it's your own divine light, right? But then I would go, oh, but I'm putting it out and I don't want to put out my own divine light, you know? And so all this stuff would go in my head, and I would go, well, what is it really representing for me? Because that's the important thing. Well, all of a sudden it flashed like, yes. It came, I got this download from my spirit guides telling me, you are that light, the flame, the wick, the light, the flame, okay? You are that divine light. And you have to be willing to do what you need to do to feed that light. And so I went, oh, okay. So I stopped meditating. I set my ghee lamp up again. I put the wick back up. Now, I have been doing this for weeks where I'd reset it back up in my spiritual practice time, my sadhana, and it would just flop over anyway, okay? But I set it up, and I was going to do some chanting. So I lit it again, and I was doing chanting, and the thing burnt all the way through where it was the ghee was liquid, because that's what happens. And instead of flopping over, it stayed up. And all of a sudden I went, oh my goodness, I get this. I get the spiritual lessons I'm supposed to learn from this. Now I'm wondering if what you've just heard, you can see the spiritual lessons in there before I actually tell you what they are right now, because I'm going to tell you what those main ones are, okay? Because I'd love to see it if you knew what they were, or at least what some of them are, before I tell you right here in the next minute, okay? And share it in the comments, because often if you get the aha before I tell you, it can have more impact on you, and when you express it to someone else, it can really truly make a huge difference on whether or not you actually are able to apply it in your life. So I'd love it if you want to share in the comments about what you got from my story, but I'm going to tell you the main points I got from it so that you hopefully have the transformation that I have. Because that's what all this is about, is when I share with you my experiences, my ahas, what my spirit guides are telling me to share with you. It is about helping you have the transformation that you need, have the spiritual growth, the spiritual lessons, so that you can move forward in your expansion into what you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, and what you are to have, because you are this powerful being, powerful beyond measure. Now, if you know, like you've gotten something from this story and you're looking for a spiritual mentor or coach to help you, I'd love it if you take advantage of my gift that I want to give you, which is a complimentary next step connection call. So I'm going to put that up in the show notes. So feel free to click on that link and have a connection call with me to see if we're a fit, that I can help you in your spiritual growth and in manifesting what you desire. So, but let's get to those main lessons, okay? So the first one, what did I do? I let go of resistance, right? I stopped, instead of getting irritated. Whenever you're irritated or frustrated with something, you're resisting it. People might not think of it that way, but that's what's happening, is you're resisting it because you're frustrated and you want a different result, but it's not happening and you just keep being frustrated. Well, I let go of all resistance and said, I'm going to accept this, because right? If you resist it, it persists. We've heard that saying, okay? But you have to truly let it go. Now, what helps you to let go of that resistance is curiosity. The curiosity to ask the right kinds of questions. Because instead of, like what I was first doing was, why does this thing keep falling over? But what does it manifest? More of it falling over. I asked, what are you trying to communicate to me? Because I'm connecting now at that point with my spirit guides, with spirit. And what is the lesson I'm supposed to learn here? So I got both the communication from my spirit guides and the lesson. So, and here's the thing about on the spiritual journey, the journey of awakening, is I know of these truths, but I'm human, and so I forget them at times because I get into whatever I'm into or whatever challenge I'm having, and I have to have my own awakening process. So I had to get to let go of the frustration. I'm resisting something I don't want to resist. I just want to understand the communication. So you want to let go of resistance, get curious, and ask the right kinds of questions. So not like, why does it keep falling over? Because then it's going to keep falling over. But a solution-oriented question was, what are you trying to communicate to me? Because I know my spirit guides are always trying to guide me to higher consciousness. Okay? What am I supposed to learn? Because they're always trying to help me grow spiritually. Because spiritual growth is one of our main purposes of why we're here on the planet, is to grow spiritually so we can step into that next stage of whatever we're supposed to be, do, or have, okay? So then after I asked that question, I became willing to do something different, willing to receive the guidance. I got into an energy of willingness, also of listening, okay? Willingness and listening. Willingness and listening kind of go hand in hand. If you listen and get guidance, but you have no willingness to do the guidance, then it doesn't do you any good. But if you have willingness to listen and willingness to do something different, your world can be transformed. Okay, so you have to have willingness. So I was willing to do something different. In that of the ghee lamp of it falling over, and I came to a place of saying to myself, well, let me be willing to take care of my inner light, my light, and whatever it takes. So I was going to be willing to take care of my inner light, my light, which is taking care of me, okay? But I also need to be willing to take care of the ghee lamp light, because that was representing me. And so I got to a place where I was willing to go, I will light this lamp and play with the ghee every day. If I have to do it 5 times in the same sadhana, I'll do it 5 times. Now, that's where I had gotten in the process of going through this experience, okay? And so that willingness to put forth energy is huge in transforming what's going to happen, okay? Now, here's the interesting thing. I became willing to do it if I had to do it 5 times or 10 times or whatever many times. But then once I got willing and I put the intention that this is for my spiritual growth, changed my consciousness to a higher place of receiving the downloads, being willing to meet that experience where it is, the wick hasn't fallen over since then. Stayed up every single time, never fell over. And so it is about understanding that life is not randomly happening to you. It is communication. It is lessons there. And not lessons to make you suffer. Lessons to help you have that higher consciousness, to understand the spiritual laws, to feel connected to spirit, to your spirit guides. Because once I got that aha, my whole consciousness shifted. I was like grateful for everything. I just was like, and the big thing was I started to realize, like I teach manifestation, I manifest things, but it gave me even more evidence. And that's the thing. When we want to apply the spiritual laws, the more evidence that you can get, that you can go refer back to, because it helps you on the times when you're having lower consciousness, it can transform you. So I always recommend people, like my coaching clients, to write an evidence journal. So that in that weak moment, because even though they might be working with me on a regular basis, they aren't with me every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so you can go to that evidence journal and read where you've had evidence to the powerful being that you are, that when your consciousness is in this higher place, or that you get willing and let go of resistance, that yes, you can manifest, then you can go, and move yourself out of that lower consciousness. So hopefully this is helpful for you. I'd love to see any comments or shares. If you have any questions about anything, please put it in there. Again, if you'd like to take advantage of my connection call, please feel free to check out the link in the show notes. And if this has been helpful for you, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. And as always, if you want to be a blessing in the world and you know of somebody that may find benefit from this, please share it with them. If you, again, have any questions or anything, put them in the comments. Have a miraculous day, blessings, and I'll see you in the next video.